The one great advantage I enjoyed in my younger days was the literary and artistic atmosphere which prevailed at home. The reception rooms were always brightly lit every evening, and richly adorned carriages would draw up under our portico. There was a constant flow of visitors. I was too young to understand what was happening, and I would keep staring at the rows of lighted casements from my place in the darkness.
My elder cousin Ganendra had got hold of a drama written by Pandit Tarkaratna and it was being staged in the house. His enthusiasm for literary and the fine arts knew no bounds. He had studied the history of various countries and translated and published a Sanskrit drama as well as many well-known hymns. In fact, we have as the lead in writing patriotic poems and songs.
I was still a child when Ganendra died in the prime of his youth, but no one could forget his handsome, tall, and stately figure. His power of attraction drew men around him and kept them bound to him.
I remember still better his younger brother, my cousin Gunendra. He likewise kept the house filled with his personality. His large, gracious heart embraced alike relatives, friends, guests, and dependents. His wide appreciation of art and talent kept him constantly radiant with enthusiasm.
We were too young then to be a part of these doings, but the waves of merriment to which they gave rise came and beat at the doors of our curiosity. I recall how a burlesque composed by my eldest brother was once being rehearsed in the drawing room. From our place, we could hear through the open windows opposite roars of laughter, mixed with the strains of a comic song. We could not gather what exactly the song was about, but enjoyed it all the same.
I remember a trifling circumstance, and for me, the special regard of Gunendra. Never had I got a prize at school except once for good conduct. My nephew Satya was the best at his lessons and was awarded a prize at an examination. As we came home that day, I jumped off the carriage and gave the great news to Gunendra. Satya had got a prize, I shouted as I ran to him. He drew me close and smilingly asked, "And have you got a prize?" "No, not I, it's Satya," I said excitedly.
My genuine pleasure at Satya's success touched him, and he remarked to his friends that this was a very commendable trait. I had earned a prize for not getting a prize. Gunendra usually told me stories from Indian history, and I would show him the things I had made myself composed. By then, I was writing small poems, and cousin Gunendra was not a harsh critic. He expressed his opinions candidly and often burst out laughing when the childish in my poetry stood out too much.
My eldest brother was already busy writing his masterpiece, The Dream Journey. Cousin Gunendra would come to listen to it each morning as my father read it out, and often the veranda would shake with her mirth. Each morning as my brother read it out, and often the veranda would shake with their mirth.
We would peep and eavesdrop and enjoy this feast of poetry, though we really neither understood the dream journey nor felt any need to understand it in order to enjoy it.
It is now that I realize that we don't have that kind of majlish or social gathering anymore. Our boyhood days saw the gradual disappearance of intimate social relationship. Neighborly feelings were so strong then that the gatherings were a necessity and those who could participate well were admired. People nowadays call on each other on business or as a matter of social duty, but not to gather for a majlish, for which they have neither the time nor the inclination to enjoy.
What goings and comings we used to see, how merry were the rooms and verandas with the hum of conversation and snatches of laughter. Our elders possessed the ability to keep up animated and amusing conversation in the midst of social gathering. Men still come and go, but those same verandas and rooms seem empty and deserted.
The problem is that we have lost what we had and have not been able to build up afresh. We no more contrive opportunities to bring men together simply because we love our fellow men. When I look back on those people whose ringing laughter coming straight from their hearts used to lighten for us the burden of household cares, they seem to have been visitors from some other world.